Stand by. The program will begin soon.
When I see an American flag, I immediately look at that I'm like, that person's probably a bigot. That person's probably a homophobe. That person's probably a racist if they're just flying American flags out everywhere.
Hold up.
Hey, this sounds more like a you problem. You should probably go see somebody about that.
He got over $5 million per year from the American taxpayers, being given no bid contracts from Maine Governor Janet Mills, and is building a military in Somalia. He has been funneling money back to Somalia to build a military in Somalia. The guy is running a migrant services agency that bills Maine Care, which is what we call Medicaid, about $5 million a year. Oh no, those illegal immigrants are getting any Medicare. And then he said he raised money in the U.S. to buy weapons, munitions, and supplies for a paramilitary force he had hoped to lead as the president of Jubaland. Yes, that's a real state in Somalia. And to be clear, in Somalia, he's running to be the warlord of Jubaland. Elections in Jubaland aren't exactly like elections in America. It's whoever has the most guns is able to certify the election. So he needed to buy a paramilitary organization and paramilitary support in order to win the election. Avocados Diablias asks, if you could bring any one comic strip character to life and train them to be a hitman, who would you choose? Oh, that's the easiest question ever. Calvin. Calvin. Oh, look, Somnambule Nation, you and I are on the same page. Calvin. From Calvin and Hobbes. Yes. And by God, Calvin would be the greatest hitman to ever live. Better than John Wick. I guarantee it. I didn't have to think of it.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
Yes, it's true. The Obama administration deported over 3 million people, and the Biden administration over 4 million people. But they didn't need troops. They didn't need military in the streets to do it. Tell me why. Put it in the chat. Tell me why you think that's that.
Because when Obama and Biden were in office, there were no riots in the streets of Los Angeles, even though 80% of the deportations were also expedited with no hearing. But you didn't give a shit then. Now that Trump's in office, you suddenly give a shit. Hope that helps.
That turkey was amazing. Mostly because I cooked it, because I'm really good at cooking turkey. So one of my tricks new tricks that I do, you know how when you cook a turkey in a pan, even if you got one of those raised pans, it always happens. You cook this turkey and the breast of the turkey get all nice, the top gets all nice and brown, and then you go to cut the underside and the thighs and legs are like all white underneath and not even done. Well, there's a trick you can do to avoid that. What you do is you cook the bird upside down for at least 1/3 of the cooking time. So you end up browning the bottom and sealing that first, even more so. And the other thing I do is I start my oven at 500 degrees. The first 45 minutes to an hour, you put it at 500 degrees, and then you turn it down to 325 and do the rest of the cooking. But anyway, do it upside down, and 1/3 of the way through, then you flip the bird back over in the pan, and the entire bird gets finished at the same time. So apparently, in Europe, you can refer to Americans as pigs. but not convicted rapists. A German court gives a woman harsher punishment than convicted. I hate it when people say rapist. I'll just say unwanted sexual activity peoples for calling him a disgraceful pig. She called someone convicted of that crime a disgraceful pig and got a harsher punishment than the person who actually committed unwanted sexual activity. And so that's why people were posting that story about the German court gives women harsher punishment than convicted unwanted sexual activity.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
There's a story about this man, too. He led the attack on Pearl Harbor, but died a Christian missionary on December 7, 1941. Captain Mitsuo Fuchida flew the lead plane against Pearl Harbor, shouting the famous code, Tora, Tora, Tora. He hated America. But after the war, he met a former American POW, Jacob DeSager, who had returned to Japan not to punish him, but to preach the gospel. Shocked by this forgiveness, Fuchida bought a Bible. He converted to Christianity in 1950. The man who started the Pacific War spent the rest of his life touring the U.S. and Japan preaching. Quote, I was a follower of the sword. Now I'm a follower of the cross. Nearly 5 years after pipe bombs were discovered outside the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee in Washington, D.C., a suspect has been arrested in the case. On Thursday, federal agents arrested Brian Cole Jr., 30 of Woodbridge, Virginia, and he was charged with transportation of explosive devices, blah, 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 blah. But on Friday, legacy media outlets began reporting that Cole, this young black man right here, was a Trump supporter. And I'm not saying he's not because he's black. I'm just saying there's other evidence that might support the fact that he's not a Trump supporter. But we'll get to that. Quote, Brian Cole works for a bail bonds company run by his father that worked to free illegal immigrants from ICE facilities and sued the Trump administration's Department of Homeland Security. He worked for his dad. They tried to free illegal immigrants. Interesting. Yes, I know every Trump supporter, every black supporter, Trump supporter, would be quick to hire Benjamin Crump, who represented the family of Trayvon Martin, attempting to sink the Biden administration Department of Justice on a local Tennessee prosecutor who had raised concerns about the bail bond companies. We'll find out eventually that this guy had wanted nothing to do.
Additionally, if you open this up to ice fishing, while on the surface it sounds good, then what happens next year? Does someone come back and say, I want an ice shanty on Hudson Springs Park for X amount of time? And if you then allow ice fishing with shanties, then that leads to another problem. Prostitution. And now you've got the police chief and the police department involved. Just data points to consider.
It is Happy Bill of Rights Day on December 1791. The Commonwealth of Virginia ratified the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. George Mason and James Madison were the driving forces behind these guarantees of individual rights. And note that all the individual rights that are in the Bill of Rights are not rights granted by the government. Those are the inalienable rights which the government shall not infringe. And if you notice, it's interesting because the Bill of Rights is all about what the government cannot do, not what the government can do. And I think the kind of got away from that a little bit, where some people seem to think that the government is supposed to grant you rights. No, these are rights you have, whether it's a government or not, and the rights that the government must protect for you. So it was a unique thing when it came about in 1791. that government is not there to grant you or give you privileges, but rather to protect the rights that you have.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
What's up? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. And why am I getting a phone call, right? Who calls me this time of day? Oh, that stupid vacation club shit. Anyway, hi. Happy Friday. Red Friday. It is the 9th of January, 2026. I almost said the wrong year because everyone does that. Excuse me, this time of year. What? Unsubscribed? Why? I have no idea what that means. What did I do? What did I do? What was loud? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's the morning. I'm Marty, your host, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. And yeah, boy, oh boy, so much stuff going on with this thing here in Minneapolis. It's like all Minneapolis news, but got a couple hot takes here. One from the Chicago police and one from the Philadelphia police. I got a bunch of hot takes. I was just scrolling through X. I was going to do all these trending topics, and I'm like, oh, just go down the feed and everything you come across is new. So I'm putting separate links for all these things that I'm going to do today. And of course, it is, what is it called? Friday Q&A today. So drop your questions over in the thing up at the top of the chat there. Let's say hi and go, because there's a lot to talk about, and I want to get a lot of questions done, and so we'll just do the whole thing. So let's go. I'm sorry, am I yelling again? Was that what was the unsubscribe thing, Somnambull Nation? What are you talking about? Oh, the what's up? Oh, yes, the old was that a Bud Light commercial? What was that? Who did what was the what's up commercial? What was that for? I don't even remember what it was for. It was for a beer, wasn't it? That was, the guys that what's up? Pepsi. No, it wasn't Pepsi, was it? What was the what's up for? Siri, what was the what's up commercial for? I think it was Bud Light. Oh, it's not even answering me. Oh, yeah, Lux Vacation Trips. Anyway, I think it was Bud Light. Back when they had, when they had brains, that was a funny commercial. You know how many people were saying "what's up" for all that time? That was crazy. So anyway, today's coffee is brought to you by the Split Rock Lighthouse, one of the most beautiful lighthouses in the world, up on Lake Superior. And that's a great. I'm telling you, if you ever chance just to spend 3-4 days or a week or a vacation or something. And it was Budweiser, wasn't it? Anyway, anywhere along the shore of Lake Superior in the United States of America, whether you go to the North Shore where the Split Rock Lighthouse is, whether you go to the Southern Shore like in Wisconsin, like in the Apostle Islands, whether you go up in the Upper Peninsula in Michigan, up near like Munising and the Pictured Rock National Shoreline, it's just an amazing place to be in the summer, is along the shores of Lake Superior. There's so many beautiful places along there that you marvel at it. I grew up in Nebraska where it's pretty boring and you got the Missouri River or whatever, but you go up along Lake Superior, there's cliffs, there's caves, there's waterfalls, it's gorgeous. I mean, we've done a couple trips where we just drove along the shore of Lake Superior and stopped and went and see stuff, and it was cool as hell. So I definitely recommend it. But let's say hi and get going, because I got a lot to do, and I actually have a lot more time today because I was close to being on time. That's a fantastic thing. But let's say hi. First, the chat today. Who's getting the bell today? I can't remember. I it might have been, I think I know who it is. I think I know it is. It's Kara Soldier gets the bell. Yeah, baby. Yeah. So congratulations here first today. Also, good morning, Tyre Alexander, the Pope Tyre, the Blessed Lich, with the simple message today, blessing of the Holy Ghost.
You are the new streamer.
What the hell? I hit the wrong button. Sorry. Also, good morning to Avocados Diabli, Resolute Germ, Midnight, our young friend, Ms. Wild Wolf, Blue-Eyed Screams here, and is that it? Why is this not scrolling? The hell's going on here? Oh, there we go. Attack Alpaca's in the house. What's up? Good morning. Tyler F. Hello. As I scroll down, Blue-Eyed Scream. What's up? And wow, is that everybody? The hell is everybody? Oh, Resolute Germ. What's up? I see you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to skip you there. So anyway, welcome to everybody who's here so far, and we'll welcome people as they pop into the chat every once in a while. So good to have you here. A hair's breadth. Damn key. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm okay. You guys are talking to each other. I like the commercial where the guy kept picking up serial killers who had Bud Light with them. Husband, he has Bud Light. Wife, and an axe. Oh, that was a good one. That was funny as hell. Oh, here's the What's Up ad. Let's thank you, Soundable Nation. Here's the What's Up ad. Oh, it's Bud, I think.
Hello? Hey, who? What's up? Nothing, B. Just watching the game, having a bud. What's up with you? Nothing.
Watching the game, having a bud.
True.
What's up? What's up?
Yo, who's that? Yo, pick up the phone. Hello? What's that?
I earned a dislike? Damn! I don't care. I love this commercial.
What's that? What's that? Hold on. Hello?
It's funny as hell. I'm sorry. And it just reminds me of like me and my friends growing up. We do stupid shit. I don't know. That's what dudes do, man. Dudes do stupid stuff like that and think it's funny. And if you're not a dude, you won't understand. I didn't mean to imply that Soundable Nation and Avocados Diabli weren't dudes, but you know what I mean. Because you and your boys do stupid shit, and that's going to be in the links today. So if you are really sensitive and can't handle it, I'm sorry. I like it, and I'm keeping it. So there you go. All right. Who else? Anyone else show up while I had my diet? Oh, Anand, 1, 2, 3. Is in the house. How you doing? All right. Thanks to people sharing the stream, of course, as many of you are very helpful to the show. And, of course, probably the first one's going to be Soundable Nation if I scroll down fast enough. Well, not quite, but it was Ms. Wild Wolf. Beat you to the punch. Got in my mentions first. There you go. And also, thank you for sharing the stream. And there's Soundable Nation, a.k.a. Lincoln, spelled like Abraham. D is the capital D, description, Lincoln description, nice. And also Ms. Wild Wolf, the original GIF of the Friday Free for All show. And I'll repost that, of course. Also, thank you, Midnight, with another, like a little buff cute kitty. I mean, the kitty is cute, but I can't repost it for some reason. I don't know what's going on with that. Your account must be restricted or something. Lincoln Description also has kind of got the theme with Wolverine today, since I had what's the dude Deadpool in my gift today. Oh, what is that? That's a whole nother Wolverine. There you go. And then thanks to people retweeting the show, CG, link in description, aka Soundable Nation, Ms. Wild Wolf, and Resolute Germ, and CG with the little let's go. I'll repost that too. Thank you very much for the people helping me out. And I know more of you will do that as we go. I'm sure that I'll see an appearance by Ric Flair sometime soon. PDawgKnight, I sent you the original clip on X. The original clip of what? here, let me see what you're saying here. They took that from the movie Scream. Oh. Actually, it's the other way around. Scream put that in the movie as a joke from the Bud Light commercial. The Bud Light commercial came first. Just telling you, I am an old hat. You know that I got it right. There we go. Here's our daily Ric Flair right there. Woo! Ric Flair's prime was pretty funny as an interview, but I thought he was a terrible wrestler. He was just terrible. Although his face plant that everyone learned to like is classic Ric Flair. All right. And there we go. That's everybody who shared the streams. Thank you, all of you share the stream. Let's get into the show. Today, I forgot something. Hang on. Hold on. Holiday calendar. I did not put it up because I want to know what holidays to celebrate today. But of course, on Friday, it's also Red Friday. And Red Friday is the red is the acronym for Remember Those Deployed. We wear red on Fridays. I actually remembered to wear red this Friday. And here's a lovely picture of Melania Trump wearing a nice long red coat. Good morning, Patriots. Today is a double dose of gratitude and pride. It's Red Friday. Remember everyone deployed. Let's honor our brave troops serving far from home, risking everything to defend our freedoms overseas, and pick up maybe a South American dictator or two. And let's stand for our heroes in blue right here, battling domestic terrorist threats and chaos to keep our communities safe every single day. Wear red today. Let it be a bold symbol of unbreakable support for our military and law enforcement. Show them they'll never be forgotten, never alone. A sea of red across America will lift their spirits and remind them we have their backs. So there you go. Wear red on Red Friday. Hey, how'd you get red out of Remember Those Who Are Deployed? Oh, I'm sorry. Remember everyone deployed. Yeah, I don't know. I say shit that doesn't make sense sometimes. You know that. So why are you pressing me, man? Hello, Aaron Meredith. Nice to have you in the show. All right. So, yeah, and then, lots of people, you can look, speaking of red, here, Avocados Diablo, I'm trying to earn your dislike back to a like. So there you go. There's some AI hot chick with boobs hanging out and shit. And she's a fine individual too. Look at that. There you go. Does that help? Okay. Oh, here, let me, you got to see the top of her head too, because I don't know why. Okay, I took away the dislike. Still no like yet. I'm working on it. Oh, look at that. She's a librarian too. I gotta love a good librarian, right? Dewey Decimal System. There you go. All right. Remember those deployed. Other holidays today. National Word Nerd Day. Can somebody give me an example? Word nerd. It is Balloon Ascension Day. Soaring to new heights and Balloon Ascension Day. You know, this is not a good day for Balloon Ascension in Minnesota because we got a bunch of snow on the ground. But there is over in Hudson, Wisconsin, which is across the St. Croix River from Minnesota, from the Twin Cities area, they have a really fun balloon festival every year. And unfortunately, we went there last year and it was too windy and they couldn't deploy the balloons. But have you ever been to like a big hot air balloon festival? They're actually kind of cool because there's some cool designs and, usually they have a lot of good stuff going around. Food and shit at this one, at least. It's also National Faith Day, and not like you having faith, but someone named Faith. So if you happen to run into Faith Hill, congratulate her. It's National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, which I'm sure all those protesters in Minneapolis are just having a ball with. I'm sure they enjoy that. National Apricot Day. It's a weird time in the year to have Apricot Day because I don't think anyone's harvesting apricots right now, but hey, what the hell. International Choreographers Day. So do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight. I don't think that's what they meant, but anyway. Play God Day.
Avocados Diablo? Yeah. Wow, I couldn't even talk. Avocados Diablo. Repent.
There, I played God. National Austin Day, not Austin, Texas, but people named Austin. Austin. National Cassoulet Day. What the fuck's a cassoulet? Is that like a French casserole? What the hell's cassoulet? Indulge in the rich, hearty flavors of cassoulet on National Cassoulet Day. Okay, hang on. We got to look this up. cassoulet. We'll just cut and paste it because I don't even know how to spell it. Copy, and we're going to look it up over here on DuckDuckGo, or on Brave, excuse me. I don't use DuckDuckGo. I use Brave because Brave is a little bit better than DuckDuckGo. Okay, let's see what the cassoulet is. Okay, a cassoulet is a rich stew originating in southern France. Oh my God! I was just guessing. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Here. I was guessing cassoulet. Okay, it's a rich tradition stew originating in southern France, particularly associated with the town of Casselandry in the Aquitaine region. It's typically made with haricot beans and a combination of meats such as pork, sausages, goose, duck, lamb, or mutton, and is aromatically spiced with garlic and herbs. The dish is known for its deep, complex flavors and the formation of a dark, savory crust on top during cooking. It actually looks kind of good, though. Cannellini beans, kosher salt, low sodium chicken stock, unflavored gelatin, duck fat, salt pork, boneless pork shoulder, chicken thighs or drumsticks, fresh ground black pepper, garlic sausage, large onion, carrot, celery stalks, whole head of garlic, fresh parsley, and you just put it in a Dutch oven and cook the hell out of it. That sounds pretty damn good. I might have to try that. All right, National Carter Day. Not the Carter's Little Pills or Carter's Baby Clothes, but someone named Carter. Who gives a shit? National Wonk Day. Quitters Day. I thought that said Quilters Day. Someone mentioned up here. Who said Quitters Day is the best day? Kick bad habits and curb. To the curb. Oh, it's like you're quitting bad habits. I thought you meant like Governor Walls or something, you know? Anyway, so there you go. There's all the special holidays today. Fantastic. All right, moving on. Unemployment numbers came out today or yesterday or something. Let's see. Where is it here? It's funny because, U.S. jobs reports 1 hour ago. Non-farm payrolls up 50,000 versus the estimated 60,000. So a little bit below estimates, but unemployment rate 4.4, a little better than the estimated 4.5. Average hourly earnings up 3.8% year to year versus an estimated 3.6. So that's good news. Wages are up. Unemployment rates basically steady. Someone here says, just discovered your page recently and recently appreciate the content and coverage. Somebody, okay, I don't know what that's. He's talking about the person who put this on. So there's nothing wrong with those numbers. December jobs report just dropped. 50K added. Unemployment falls to 4.4%. Below the 73 forecast, but rate dropped from November 4-year high of 4.6. October revised down 173,000 after federal employees came off the payroll. Weak hiring year since 2020. Weakest hiring year since 2020 now complete. And then there you go. And this is hiring is way down. Hiring is at its lowest since early 2011, aside from the worst moment of the pandemic. This low hiring rate is typically seen when unemployment is around 8%, though unemployment today is only 4.6%. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? So, what is it? Let's see. Unsurprisingly, Trump's immigration crackdown is still not delivering labor market improvements for the U.S. born. Over the last year, native-born unemployment is up from 3.7% to 4.1%, while native-born employment has decreased. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure. Anyway, so there you go. There's the unemployment numbers if you're interested. Let's move on. Before I do, though, thank you. Sazius Tire dropping $2.30 in the tip jar, and you are now the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Says Word Nerd. Oh, Word Nerd K. Do you have a naked name? We all have them. A private name used by the family. Over time, it becomes Neckaname because people got lazy and shortened it. Then it becomes nickname, the word nerd. Oh, go. That's how the word nickname came around. It used to be a nickname, and then it became a nickname, and then somebody just said, let's just call it a nickname. You got a nickname? Well, my nickname is Marty. So that's because it's short for Martin, which was my middle name when I was born, John Martin O'Connor. But then my parents, when they adopted me, changed my legal name but kept calling me Marty. So there you go. So that's my nickname. That's a word nerd thing to learn how the words happen. Thank you, Tyre, for that. Also, Chicago Mike, thank you for dropping a 5-spot in the tip jar on YouTube Super Chat saying, hi, Marty. Were you dropping off any young ones at the Equality Learning Center? LOL, I hope you're doing well. Yeah, fortunately, I did not have... Thank you, by the way, also Chicago Mike. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm doing great. Nice to see you back, too, my friend. No, and apparently the Quality Learning Center, or Quality Learning Center, has... oh, I read that wrong. It is the Quality Learning Center. Anyway, apparently the Quality Learning Center is closed again. Apparently they just opened for a few days to prove that they were open, and then now they're closed again. Yeah. I believe them. All right. So thank you, both Tyre and Chicago Mike, for sponsoring the show. Moving on. Next thing, Publix is trending. Apparently some dude, I don't know why this is news. Somebody named Nick Huber, why is this not, there you go. Somebody named Nick Huber has ditched Publix for Aldi and Trader Joe's savings. Now, I have who the fuck is Nick Huber? I saw this him posted about this the other day, and I'm like, why is this guy getting so much attention? Nick Huber posted Friday that Publix feels too pricey for basics, with his family now shopping Aldi and Trader Joe's for about 50% less. Shoppers praise Publix for clean stores, friendly baggers, free kids cookies, and buy one, get one deals. But price checks show it's 77% higher than Aldi and 63% above Kroger. Aldi wins on savings despite cart corners and bag hassles. I don't know what that means. And by the way, anyone here who calls a shopping cart a buggy, because some people call them buggies, and we talked about that not too long ago. Trader Joe's shines with unique snacks and many mixed stores for staples, sales, and treats, revealing how priorities shape grocery runs in the Southeast. Look, Publix, I guess, maybe I don't know if I'm right here. They're like up in the Twin Cities here. We have there's a store chain called Byerly's. There's another store chain called Hy-Vee that's really out of Iowa. There is Kowalski's, are all high-end grocery stores where you pay more than you would like if you went to Cub Foods or if you went to Aldi or if you went to Trader Joe's. Choose your battles. I mean, if there's for example, Hy-Vee is really good if you want some artisan bread. And I'm not going to get that at Cub Foods, right? But I'll get some really good artisan bread at Hy-Vee because their bakery is freaking amazing. But I won't go there just regularly. I tend to buy shit at Sam's Club, and we just portion it out and freeze it. What we're not using right away. Even though there's only two of us, we like to use Sam's Club because you spend a lot less at Sam's Club. Butter, eggs, milk, and everything else. Go to Sam's Club and get it. And gasoline too. It's like literally 50 cents lower than the other places around here. But anyway. So anyway, yeah, I don't know why this guy's getting so much attention. Is he like some guru or something? Is this him right here? Let's see who the hell he is. Nick Huber, I buy real estate and start companies, owner of Somewhere, Bolt Store, RE Cost, and blah, blah, blah. I have no idea why this guy's important, but he has 417,000 followers on X. And for some reason he gets a special attention. Hello, Lord Stanhope. Good morning. And thank you. Avocados Diabli also sponsors the show. With a small bullet in the tip jar, $2.23, says that was misinformation. Nickname came from the word ek name. Ek also meaning name. Okay, we're having a battle of the word nerds here. I think we need to have a fight to the death. Choose your weapons, gentlemen. Choose your... Okay, here's a good question. And And I'd put it in the Friday Q&A, but I already have a Friday Q&A up. If you were going to have, wait, let me do 2 Q&As? I don't even know. Oh, no, but won't let me have 2 Q&As. Okay, if you were going to have a battle to the death, what would you choose as your weapon? Think carefully. Some weapons could be, well, just what would you choose as your weapon? That's all I'm asking. That's a silly question. All right, so that's in the news. Don't know why. Also, let's see. Oh, and Publix is trending again, and lots of people are responding to this guy. Oh, wait, what? This isn't Walmart or Publix behavior. It's their own. This is unbelievable. What does this mean? What? Okay, what are we getting here? I hope there's not music in this. Let me see what this is. This is not Publix, Walmart behavior. This is Walmart behavior, not Publix. WTF. Let me see what they're saying here. Oh, never mind. I'm afraid I might see some body parts. So I'm just gonna skip it. What? Wednesday, California roll. We don't buy this because it's $5 sushi Wednesday at Publix. We buy this because Asian people are behind the counter making it. If anyone says otherwise, it's a lie. I don't care. Next thing on the things that were trending. Obviously the situation in Minneapolis is trending. Oh, I got something to say about that too in a second. ICE agent shoots U.S. citizen. Okay, again, these are summarized by how people talk about things on X. ICE agent shoots U.S. citizen mom during Minneapolis operation, sparking protests. And they don't even put her name in the summary except for good. So I'm just like, listen to this sentence. Listen to this sentence. On January 7th, 2026, Good died in South Minneapolis after her vehicle reversed slightly and turned away from plainclothes ICE agents during a snow-stuck operation targeting immigration violations. Wait a minute. Good died? Like, is everything going to be bad now? Hello, JB. What's up? But also, after her vehicle reversed slightly and turned away from plainclothes ICE agents. No, these weren't plainclothes. They were decked out in fucking ICE camouflage shit. And also, look, I talked about this yesterday. I'm not convinced that her intention was to run over the ICE agent. She may very well have been paying attention and just hit it. Again, women drivers, man. I'm just saying. But look, and I don't expect that agent in front of the car to know what her intentions were either. He sees a vehicle coming at him. He's going to do whatever's appropriate in that situation. Okay. So it's a tragic situation where regardless of what her intent was, she was in a place where she shouldn't have been. And so I'm not condoning her death. I'm not condemning it. It's just what happens when you put yourself in difficult situations. And when I see people on the internet who can't seem to be consistent on this, because they'll talk about Ashley Babbitt saying, oh, she deserves to die because the officer told her to not do what she was doing. Does that apply to Renee Good? She deserved to die because the officer told her not to do what she was doing. I don't like when the government kills you. Okay. And in any situation. So it should be very, it should be a tough thing. And so nobody should be celebrating it but the idea that they're out there protesting for something that this woman put herself into, I don't get that either. Something that, by the way, I was on a call-in last night on Hoteps Been Told You. My friend Hotep Jesus and Uncle Hotep invited me to call in, and I called in because he wanted to talk about it to me because I'm from this area. And he posed an interesting question to me last night that I had to think about for just a second, but then I kind of knew the answer right away. He asked me, am I pro-ICE? And as I thought about the answer to that, good morning, Lewis, by the way. When I thought about the answer, I'm like, well, I think what he really wanted to know, and I said this, I said, what you really want to know is, am I gung-ho ICE or not? Okay, because I'm pro-ICE, but I think they can certainly make mistakes. Like some of the things they're doing, I think I'm not really happy. Some of the random stuff they do, but I get it. In some cities where the local law enforcement refuses to help them, so they'll have, for example, the places where, like, and this happens in Minneapolis, they will have somebody in custody who has broken the local laws, right? And ICE or, immigration finds out about it and says, we need you to hold that person because they have a deportation order. Okay? Very simple. They have a deportation order. You got them in custody. You hold them in custody until we come get them. And the local law enforcement or judicial system refuses to hold them. In fact, lets them go because of that. Now, you don't want ICE coming into your city, going into neighborhoods and trying to, serve warrants or whatever and arrest people. But you take someone that you had in custody that has a deportation order, they have a warrant for, and you let them go into those neighborhoods. So now where does ICE have to go get them? They have to go in the neighborhoods to get them instead of just turning them over to ICE because they have a deportation order. Because Minneapolis is a sanctuary city. And then you get mad that ICE comes into the city and does their job where you let the person go. You're just as much to blame for them having to come into your city as you are blaming them for anything that happens when they do come into your city. There's a whole lot of moving parts to this that, for me, by the way, the answer to my question is yes, I'm pro-ICE. I'm not gung-ho ICE. And I'm definitely not anti-ICE. They have a job to do, and they're trying to do it the best they can. And when people are obstructing what they do and making their job harder, bad things can happen. And so this is just like when on January 6th, when I was like, all these people go to the Capitol, something bad could happen. Don't do anything stupid. And then a bunch of people break into the Capitol. Okay? Now, Ashley Babbitt was an unarmed person. Did not deserve to be shot. And because a lot of people are still saying, oh, Melissa Good was unarmed. Well, she has a 2,500-pound vehicle that she's using that could be considered a weapon. But in both cases, officers gave them a command. They didn't follow. Did they deserve to be shot because of those commands? Now, they're a little bit different because Melissa Good was coming at an officer, whether intentionally or not, with her vehicle in the direction, gunned her vehicle in the direction. Now, obviously, she turned. So in hindsight, if you play it in slow motion, it's easy to say, oh, well, she turned the wheel in slow motion. Because I laughed when I saw one of the commentators said she turned slowly. Or she pulled away slowly, turning to the right slowly. In real time, that wasn't slowly. She gunned it. But you're so busy watching slow motion videos of the incident that you have no idea what happened. You think she actually pulled out in just a creeping speed and he shot a shot, and then once he got to the side of the car, he shot another shot, and then as she moved, she shot another shot. As opposed to she gunned it, bang, bang, bang. Because usually law enforcement officers, when they deploy their weapons, they're trained to shoot until you neutralize the subject. I thought he showed restraint only shooting 3 times rather than emptying his magazine into the vehicle. But if I were on a jury and I saw this, I'd be like, well, definitely the first shot's okay. But if you're watching it in slow motion, you're like, that second shot, that third shot, That wasn't necessary. But the training is for an officer. Usually, if you shoot one shot, you don't just shoot one shot. And that's the training. And I think he was restrained. But I still think, you know, if it goes to a trial and a jury, that's what they're going to get him on, the second and third shot. Because clearly he was in front of the vehicle when it lurched forward, and he didn't know which way it's going. You can't tell which way a car's vehicle. All you know is that it's coming at you and it's brushing up against you. And he shot as it brushed up against him. If you watch it enough times, you'll see exactly what I just told you. I'm not, and so many interpretations. I'm like, you're interpreting a slow motion video. You're interpreting frame by frame. You know, oh, he shot when both his feet were on the side of the vehicle because it's a freeze frame of what the second shot. Yeah, because the car hit him and pushed him to the side of the vehicle. Every shot is okay. She was also a danger to anyone else on the road if she got away. That's true too. I know that. I don't dispute that. But you watch it in slow motion. Oh, he had plenty of time to figure out what she was doing. No, you don't, because the whole thing, once the vehicle lurched forward, took about a second and a half, if that. So anyway, but I laugh at these. I laugh at these summaries from Grok. I got a couple things open. Let's keep moving along. Also, these are the stories that Grok features when you open up the Explore tab. And the other one, Iranian's protest regime amid internet blackout and economic crisis. Protests erupted across Iran. Started late December over skyrocketing inflation and the rial's collapse. The rial's their currency. Involving into demands for regime change with crowds at Tehran, Mashhad, and Isfahan. I can't say it. Authorities responded Thursday evening with a near total internet and landline blackout to hinder coordination, as confirmed by NetBlocks. Exiled Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi called for unified street action, while rights groups report at least 45 deaths from security forces' live fire. U.S. President Trump warned against violence toward peaceful demonstrators. So Iran is in chaos right now. Here's Mario Nawfal, whatever his name is. It's not a rally, not slogans from across the street. Physical entry into protected clerical site, the kind meant to establish permanence and control. That matters. These compounds aren't just residences. They're power markers, walled, guarded, untouchable until they aren't. With the internet so restricted, footage like this leaks out in fragments, but the act itself is clear. Protesters weren't just chanting at authority. They went to its doorstep and pushed through. They're going after the mullahs. They're going after all of them. And apparently committee issued orders for further killings and an intensified crackdown. Moments ago, he declared that we have spilled blood to establish this Islamic regime, and we will not retreat an inch in the face of protesters. He went on to accuse the uprising of being orchestrated to please Pahlavi. Anyone think this might be the end of the current regime in Iran? It's looking pretty bleak for the mullahs. I'm just saying. Next, let's see, what is this one? Oh, and apparently people are mad at Elon Musk. Oh, whatever. It's constant. All right. Things, other little things that are happening. Ice Watch is trending. Apparently, this woman, Renee Good, was part of a group called Ice Watch. Oh, and also during the riots yesterday, this one dude tried to grab his whatever chemical pepper spray gun and got a blast to the face. This is at the site of the of where the incident happened.
This is the one I'm talking about. This guy walked up to him, tried to grab his pepper gun. So anyway, don't interfere with them. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. Is that ICE agent drinking a beer? I don't know. I didn't see it. But and then someone putting the Kimmel clip up here. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Renee Good was a member of ICE Watch. Their goal was to disrupt ICE operations, not just some legal observer, quote unquote. Remember the legal observer thing yesterday? Mom at the wrong place at the wrong time. She's a radical anti-ICE activist. Was she being paid? Uh-oh, the media doesn't want you to know this. So let's see, how to submit reports to ICE Watch. Okay, I don't know what that is. And this guy, I'm not putting my life on the line over Somalis. I've got people depending on me. When they say ICE is headed to your city to combat Somali fraud, thank you. Oh, okay. Let's see. This is the most neutral summary I've seen of the Minnesota murder by ICE. It has all angles. It syncs them together and shows the lead up and aftermath. If you watch this and still think those shots were justified, you just might be a psychopath. That's because, oh my God, because it's written in a way that agrees with you. Look, this is the view that you can see, because Sam's saying, oh, it didn't touch him. The vehicle did not touch him. Here, let me mute this music. You can see it over and over. There he is. He gets pushed to the side and he shoots. If you're saying that he did not get rushed by that vehicle that's coming at him, that's the view that shows you that he actually was hit by the vehicle. Okay. Now, was it enough? Look, here's the other thing. And I said this last night too. It's probably not the smartest thing if you're an ICE agent to stand in front of a vehicle that's running. I know that he's doing his job, and but this is the guy. Apparently, we'll read it in a second. He's the guy. It's been confirmed that this is the guy who got dragged by a car not that long ago. So I'm sure he's a little more sensitive to a vehicle coming at him directly. There's apparently these people have been following him around, blocking traffic for days. In fact, I'm going to move on to separate tweets about this, because I want to get through these before we get to Friday Q&A. So here's one that's interesting, and this is I'll just read a few of these. This one says, I don't think the suspect in yesterday's confrontation with federal agents woke up that day planning to get killed. I really don't. What I do think is that she probably thought she was provoking them in a way that would either end with her getting yanked out of the car, maybe shoved to the ground, detained, something ugly, non-lethal, this kind of thing that turns into a viral video where they get to play the victims and paint ISIS monsters. That's a scenario people assume is safe, especially if they've been around activism long enough to believe the script always ends the same way. If her girlfriend was already outside the vehicle filming, that tells me this wasn't spontaneous panic. That looks like the intent to capture a moment. Maybe they thought, we'll push, they'll overreact, we'll get content. I'm sure they didn't think she'd get shot. I'm sure she thought she was in control of the situation. But then reality intervenes. Maybe she didn't see the officer in front of the car. Maybe she had tunnel vision and was focused on the agent next to her. But she did accelerate forward, and once a vehicle is moving toward an officer, the situation changes instantly. At that point, whether she meant it or not, she put herself into a lethal scenario and she lost her life. That's tragic, and I agree that it's tragic. You don't want loss of life in this shit. Hello, Donkey Punch Bandit, the greatest name on the internet. It's also not the same as this just happened for no reason. And if it turns out there's evidence that this was coordinated, that the girlfriend was setting this up, encouraging it, orchestrating it to get a viral confrontation, then yeah, I think she should face charges too. Not just because someone died, but because if you help engineer a dangerous situation and someone ends up dead, you don't get to wash your hands of it afterward. Sympathy does not mean pretending people had no agency. And accountability doesn't mean saying someone deserved to die. Both things can be true at the same time. 100%. Look, because the fact that the girlfriend or whatever they call it, I don't think they're married, but whatever, stops, gets out of the car and starts filming. That kind of cements this this scenario, doesn't it? They just wanted to get a viral moment, and unfortunately, the woman ended up dead. Hello, Annalyn, what's up? And Special Cat Acid on my honorable mention list of favorite Canadians. Avocado Stabby, thank you for another 223 in the tip jar, says he wasn't approaching her from the front. He was approaching her from the side until she spun the car around and headed towards him. Part of why approaching any vehicle is so dangerous for cops and why you do not want to do what she did. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, because he came around from the other side, and as she is backing up, he's suddenly in front of the car. So she may not have even seen him, but he certainly saw her and had no way to know what her intent was. And he actually got contact from a vehicle. Zablé is here. Said say hi. Well, say hi to Zablé. I haven't seen Zablé on here in a long time. All right, next up is this one. A lot of people posted this. This is from the Chicago Police Superintendent, Larry Snelling. Now, it wasn't about specifically this event, but it's very interesting how he paints a scenario when it comes to vehicles and law enforcement.
Federal agents, ICE, HSI, are officers. They are agents of law enforcement.
Ding.
If you box them in with vehicles, it is reasonable for them to believe that they are being ambushed and that this could end in a deadly situation. And it's reasonable for them to use force based on those conditions. Do not box in any law enforcement officer. You're breaking the law when you do that.
They don't know your intentions.
And you are putting yourself in danger. Following law enforcement agents around. The question is why? What do you plan on doing? It's also reasonable for them to believe that you're eventually going to do harm to them.
Yep.
If you ram...
By the way, in this, I guess I recently found out too, from this event yesterday, she was not the only vehicle following them around. There were other vehicles. There was like kind of a little bit of a caravan out there trying to obstruct them.
Any vehicle, especially that one that contains law enforcement agents, and that's any law enforcement, local, state, federal, county, and you do this intentionally, this is considered deadly force. Deadly force is anything that can cause great bodily harm or death. When you plow into a vehicle that contains law enforcement agents, you're using deadly force.
Or if you plow into them themselves, whether intentionally or not. Don't know what her mind was at the time, and we never will. And we'll find out what the officer saw and what he had in mind when he pulled his weapon. So that's interesting. Now, but wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let's do a tale of two cities here. So that's the Chicago Police Commissioner. Now, again, this is referring to a different incident, but the point stands. It makes sense that if you're following a police officer around in vehicles, your intent is not known. And so probably the reason they're telling her to get out of the car because they don't know her intent. Why is she blocking any road that they're on with with her vehicle? But let's talk about how the Philadelphia police chief has decided to frame this a little bit differently, and this is more specific to this incident, but here we go.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hi.
I'm Rochelle Bilal, the sheriff for the city and county of Philadelphia.
Hi, Rochelle.
And I say her name, Renee Good.
It's so powerful. Say her name. Get on with the point.
Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. This should not have happened, but we're here today.
We know it shouldn't have happened. There are many factors into why it happened. Of course it shouldn't have happened. Nobody should be happy about this woman being gone. So it's a platitude.
Let know that law enforcement professionals, real ones, not the fake made up ICE, probably Trump's new army to attack citizens of the United States.
That's an interesting way to put it. As if ICE didn't exist before Donald Trump. Weird.
Did you hear what I said?
I heard what you said. I'm confused a little bit.
No law enforcement.
Hello, Seagill Gunner. What's up?
Professional wears a mask. None.
That's false. Have you ever seen DEA agents do a raid? What are you talking about? I guess you haven't because, well, actually, you probably should have seen them in Philadelphia. There's got to be a few DEA raids in Philadelphia. They wear masks too because they don't want the drug dealers to know who they are. People who are going to harm them. They don't want people who are going to harm them to know who they are. And right now, there's a whole bunch of people wanting to harm ICE agents. So yes, there's a reason they wear masks. But okay, you can keep going. ATF too, yeah.
None.
Bullshit.
Those
Bullshit.
that come to our communities wearing a mask commit crime. And thank God for our district attorney, Larry Krasner, who said he's going to lock them up. And I'm saying now, we are not going to whisk you away for them to hide your identity, because when you do it there, you're getting arrested there.
That's interesting now. So she's threatening to arrest federal law enforcement agents doing federal law enforcement with local law enforcement. That's interesting. That's interesting. I'd love to see how what goes over in the court. Thank you, Good as Dead. What the hell's Good as Dead? Thank you, Good as Dead. With the $6 tip in the tip jar. Is TC in the house? Is that what that is? Good morning. Thank you. You are now the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Good as Dead says, sorry for trying. Oh, I see. Good as Dead. That's a pun. I'm a little slow. Sorry for trying to run over the federal agent. It's hot down here. I'm not going to touch that one, but thank you for sponsoring the show. You're a good American, great American. Hello, Big Dave. What's up? Okay, let's finish with this hoe.
No whisk away for them to hide you.
Huh.
None of that here. None of that here. Law enforcement professionals do not shoot at moving vehicles.
False. God, who is this lady? You don't shoot at a vehicle that's barreling down at you? Ever? What? Forever, ever? Never? What are you talking? Oh my God. What What if someone's shooting out of a vehicle at you? Can you shoot? Oh, because then you're not shooting at the vehicle. You're shooting at the person in the vehicle. What are you talking about? Now, it shouldn't be a regular thing, and I'm not even saying that. Oh, my God. I'm
not saying fleeing because she wasn't fleeing.
No, she was. Wait a minute. Whoa, wait a minute. Did she say she wasn't fleeing? Because isn't that what everyone else is saying what she was doing? Did she say she wasn't fleeing?
Law enforcement professionals do not shoot at moving vehicles.
Since when?
I'm not saying fleeing because she wasn't fleeing.
Okay, what was she doing? Because that's everyone else is saying that she was trying to get away. Okay, since it's Word Nerd Day, chat, here's a Word Nerd thing. What is it called when you're driving away trying to get away? What is that called, Word Nerds? Just put it in the chat. I could have sworn it starts with an F and ends with a leing. Thank you, not so good. Oh, so there's good as dead, and then now not so good with another 6 in the tip jar who says, hope my lesbian white wife is doing okay. She did record everything after all. Oh, God. I'm okay. Thank you. And thank you. Not so good. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, fleeing. What's called fleeing? If you're trying to get away, it's called fleeing. And that's what everyone said she was trying to do.
Is getting out of the way.
So now you're interpreting what she was doing. Why did she floor it to get out of the way? If she doesn't get out of the way, you could just slowly creep to the way. But you saw she hit the gas. She was vamoozing. She was varooming.
Law enforcement professionals do not stand in front of moving vehicles invoking an action that is illegal.
When he walked in front of the vehicle, it wasn't moving. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh my God. Wait, I'm gonna go back a little bit. Listen to this again.
Front of moving vehicles.
Hang on.
Invoking, not saying fleeing because she wasn't fleeing.
She wasn't fleeing.
Getting out of the way.
She was getting out of the way. How do you're interpreting everything based on your emotions. We don't know what she was doing, and we'll never know. We do not know what she was doing, and we'll never know. Yeah, it's just like all the people who said, well, she was just trying to get out of the way. She was just trying to do what they told him to. How do you know? How many people, who backs up and then floors it to get out of the way? It's fine to question whether this shooting was legal or not. People can talk about that left all over the place. And in fact, the first time I talked about this, I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to tell you what I saw. And the courts and whatever, legal experts and people who are experts in the field of law enforcement can make their decision, whatever. But this woman's just like, she's just writing a narrative as she talks. Like a narrative that she has no idea if it's true or not. She's just saying what she's trying to, she's trying to put her blanket story on top of this.
Law enforcement professionals do not stand in front of moving vehicles invoking an action that is illegal.
Well, wait a minute. How did he invoke an action? An action that's illegal? Okay, well, I guess if your officers are in front of a vehicle and someone floors it, they can just die then. Is that what you're saying? Because had her wheels not spun when she first hit the gas, her turn would have come too late. Her turning would have come too late because the wheel spun when she first hit the gas, and then she turned right. If her wheels hadn't spun, that officer would be dead, or at least very injured in a bad way. She would have hit him because the car would have went straight. But the wheel spun, and then she turned right, and it only brushed him. I'm confused.
No, we don't. And so we stand here today with all those who stand against the made-up, fake, what you can call ICE, professional law enforcement. I don't call them none of that. I call them made-up, fake, wannabe law enforcement.
I'm sure you're very experienced with made-up wannabe law enforcement, ma'am, because you see it in the mirror every day. I'm just saying.
Because what they do is against not only legal law, but the moral law.
How's it against legal law, dear? How is it against legal law? Moral law? What? I'm confused. It's interesting how whose morals?
So I'm with the DA, and we will work with them. If any of them want to come in this city and commit a crime, you will not be able to hide. Nobody will wish you off. You don't want this smoke.
And by the way, when they say no one will whisk them off, I don't know how it is in some cities. I'm guessing that in most scenarios, when there's an officer-involved shooting, the officer does not hang around at the scene. Okay, the officer doesn't hang around at the scene. They probably move the officer away just so they have, because you just killed somebody. No officer is going to be around there. They'll take him somewhere else. They'll put him on administrative leave, and let things happen. They're not going to. Of course, they're going to get whisked off. The officer is going to leave the scene because, first of all, the scene itself will be volatile, and especially in this case, the scene would be volatile because there's a bunch of people around. So you get them away from the volatility so you can manage the scene. But she seems to have not understood that. Good morning, Select Boy.
Yeah, boy.
And thank you. Another $6 tip from the good and the bad, who says, "I was bad trying to be an idiot, and now I'm not so good and dead." Again, I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to comment. Holy shit, this lady. Okay, here's the rest of it.
We will bring it to you. And the fake, whatever they call them, because I can't say the name, but the criminal in the White House would not be able to keep you from going to jail. Renee Good should be here today. And to her family, we are saying law enforcement professionals are not the ones here in this city that would do that. But
I wish she could put together a sentence in English too. Would be helpful because I have no idea what the fuck she just said. She should have wrote down this speech because what the fuck did that mean? Hello, Cryptic, what's up?
The last thing that I would say.
Thank God.
Law enforcement professionals around the country do their job. And we have been fighting for years to build that bridge between us and our communities.
I guess this chief or whatever she is, whatever her position is, wasn't around in 2020, was she? That was just it was 5-6 years ago. 6 years ago, goddamn. 6 years ago? Really? Woo, Lord.
You have one negative nutcase that causes this problem, and now we all have to fight again to let people know law enforcement works with communities. These crimes would not be down if we didn't have communities work with us. Thank you.
What was that? Wait a minute. What did that mean? Listen to this. Listen to her closing sentence. That makes no sense whatsoever.
For years to build that bridge between us and our communities. You have one negative nutcase that causes this problem, and now we all have to fight again to let people know law enforcement works with communities. These crimes would not be down if we didn't have communities work with us. Thank you.
Oh, fuck. I need an interpreter. Anyway, so that's a tale of two cities. Chicago, which I'm surprised, well, the Chicago, again, it's not about this incident. So I'm saying, and then Philadelphia. Those are both in the links. All right, I got to go through this quick now. Because we've got to do the Friday Q&A. Let me see. Oh, this is 3 minutes. Let's see if this is the actual, if this is a transcript. Hang on.
Well, in response to my colleague, I would point out that we all have eyes. We all saw the video. And what I saw was an ICE vehicle that was attempting to leave an area that was in a near riot condition. A civilian vehicle then suddenly moved in front of it to block its departure. I then saw an ICE officer approach that vehicle and issue a lawful order to the driver to get out of the car. Instead of complying with that order, the driver backed up, pointed the car in the direction of another officer.
By the way, I'm kind of pissed off at all sides on this because so many people who, I don't know why I even call it both sides, but both sides of the scenario are lying all the way up to the White House and Kristi Noem and all the people on the Congress people on the left and right with inaccurate information. So the reason I'm playing this is to see how accurate this particular, I think he's a Republican, I'm not sure, how accurate he paints the scenario. I read it, but I want to hear it, and I'm going to point out if there's things that I believe he's saying that's inaccurate, because everyone's got their own little bias, and painting and saying shit that is not true. So let's just see how he does here.
Officer, and then shifted into drive, stepping on the gas while the officer had his hand on the door. It then accelerated in the direction of that other ICE officer at the moment that he fired into the vehicle. That's what the video shows.
Okay, that's accurate. Now, he could have added that, it's hard to tell because she did turn immediately after that, but whatever. That is accurate so far.
We all have eyes and we all can see it. There are a lot of questions that it raises, starting with the perspective of the officer who fired at this approaching vehicle. Was the car indeed pointed directly at him when he fired? It certainly appeared that way to me from the video we've seen. I assume the officer was wearing a body camera, and we'll get a better idea of his perspective.
Yeah, I don't like that he's implying intention. So anyway.
In the course of the investigation. There's the question of why the driver attempted to block the ICE vehicle as it was leaving. Why the driver felt motivated to obstruct clearly uniformed federal law enforcement officers in the performance of their duties.
Now, they're obstructing vehicles that had their blue and red lights flashing. So you knew it was a law enforcement vehicle. It is that their uniform might be ambiguous, but the flashing lights in the vehicle was not. It was clearly a law enforcement vehicle with blue and red flashing lights.
Why she willfully refused to comply with a lawful order by those officers, and why she pointed her vehicle toward another officer while hitting the gas.
Okay, and again, that's subjective. She, in the time it took for this to happen, she may very well have been just attempting to get the fuck out of there, and may or may not have seen the officer in front of her. And that, again, he's speculating here, but that is what happened. And the car did go toward that officer before it turned to the right. Okay, so those are facts.
And I suspect that a great deal of her motivation was exactly from the kind of incendiary rhetoric we hear every day from our radical Democratic colleagues. It is a direct attack on the rule of law. Our ICE officers are enforcing federal law as the Congress wrote it. The Democrats here don't like that law. They object to its enforcement. And they're actively encouraging citizens to obstruct its enforcement.
And not only actively is literally actively. They are telling people, you need to resist to this. You need to, you need to obstruct, whatever. Some of them have said it out loud.
The laws, the answer is not to obstruct the law, but to change it. They are sitting in the very institution that writes these laws. If they believe the laws that enforce our nation's sovereignty are wrong, then they should make the case to change them. And to Ms. Ross, I point out that when the Democrats had the majority and our nation was suffering through the worst illegal mass migration in its history, the Immigration Subcommittee under Democratic control held not a single hearing on that crisis as it unfolded, not one. I suspect their encouragement of disobedience to the law had a large role to play in the mind of the driver and in the minds of the increasingly violent mobs that our colleagues are deliberately inciting.
But
as Lincoln said to their predecessors, there is no grievance that is a fit object for redress by mob law. How sad these same words need to be repeated here before the House Judiciary Committee that's supposed to be dedicated to the rule of law.
Okay. I don't even know where. Oh, Tom McClintock's, I think, 1st District, California, maybe. I'm not sure where he's from. Also, let's see. Last night, protesters in New York City decided to act sane. And by sane, I mean... by the way, can you hear what they're saying? Hang on. These... They're calling for the hanging of Kristi Noem and whoever the first person they said was. You notice now. I noticed something. Hang on, let me. Uh-oh. Every once in a while. Hang on. Every once in a while, this button sticks. It doesn't work. Do you notice they were, kind of chanting along with the whoever will hang? Who was the first one? And then, but when they started the second one, save a life, kill an ice, you notice how the crowd kind of were a little bit softer, like, wait a minute, are we really saying this shit? Are we saying this shit out loud? Two wrongs don't make a right, and they tell her to shut up. By any means necessary, bitch. Huh.
I dedicate that one. Listen, you don't gotta chant it if you ain't ready. But some of us are pissed off, aren't we? I dedicate that one to Renee Good. When I say Renee Nicole Good, you say presente. Renee Nicole Good. Renee Nicole Good.
All right, you get the point. And this is in New York City. But they're calling on people to do that thing, By the way, 2 nights ago on CNN, I was mentioning how they talk about Ashley Babbitt versus this thing. And look, I consider them both in the same boat. 2 people who shouldn't be dead, 2 unarmed people, although the one had a vehicle driving at an officer. But 2 nights ago, this is how they were talking about Ashley Babbitt.
Are we saying Ashley Babbitt deserved to get shot? Is that the consensus?
If you are breaking in to a secure space, the United States Capitol,
And the Secret
that
Service
is
tells you to stop.
That is being
you think that woman
secured by
deserved to
Capitol
die?
Police,
You think that woman
and they
deserved to die?
tell you to stop, and you continue to do it.
You think
they have a right to use
You think
force
in
in that
another
level.
law enforcement circumstance where someone's unarmed and they break into a building, they have the right, they're expected to unarmed.
Hold on a second.
Be consistent. Why don't you actually think about what you're saying? Because this is
I'm saying Ashley Babbitt, Ashley Babbitt should not have been shot. Are we saying?
Just, I mean, literally the day before. And this young lady who always plays devil advocate for the Democrats or for the left position, and I've never heard her interrupt someone on the left to advocate for the right position, is like, oh, if the officer tells you to stop and you're in a building and this and that. Did she have that same energy yesterday? Did she? Oh, stop bringing me into this. Okay, sorry. Did she have the same energy yesterday? Officer told him to stop, told that lady to stop, told her to get out of her car. Fascinating. Here one in recent months, Minnesota Public Radio has been kind of pushing this too. In recent months, Minnesota Public Radio has run a series of stories encouraging people to engage in monitoring of ICE activities. These actions by local activists has led to an escalation of tensions that culminated in the unfortunate death of Renee Good, who reportedly received training from groups such as those profiled by NPR News, Minnesota Public Radio. One NPR story featured legal advice from someone named Erica Zorowski, who is identified as the co-founder of the Minnesota Immigrant Rights Action Committee and a paralegal. This activist, who is not an attorney, advised that ICE has no authority over U.S. citizens and cannot detain them for any reason other than to check immigration status, which is false. Because if they intervene, if they involve themselves or obstruct a legal action, they can be arrested for a federal crime. Anyway, this is not true. ICE agents can, for example, arrest people who are impeding law enforcement operations. Oh, I didn't read the next line. The myth that ICE agents have no legal authority over U.S. citizens is dangerous and has likely emboldened activists who believe they are untouchable. That it is irresponsible to be spreading this misinformation. So here it is, tinted windows and out-of-state plates, how ICE watchers look for agents in their neighborhood. This is from Minnesota Public Radio. Training teaches ICE observers how to document immigration enforcement activities in Minnesota. Do's and don'ts if you monitor ICE agents and immigration action in Minnesota. Yeah, don't block them with your car. Is probably should have been in that list. And then finally, what an observer should do if they are taken by ICE. If you are a U.S. citizen observer and you are detained by ICE, ICE has no authority over you. ICE agents under the law are allowed to temporarily detain someone until they are able to verify their immigration status. Unless you're obstructing the action, they can't arrest you. So that's bad advice from NPR, Minnesota Public Radio. And then finally, this is just the mind virus they talk about, the mind virus. This is a good example of the mind virus. This poor woman is torn on whether or not she should be out there protesting. Well, let her explain it because you'll catch it, I'm sure.
So I mean, I'm just walking around kind of just dazed because I was like, I don't know if it's the right thing to do. It feels kind of wrong being here in some way. I don't know why.
Okay, if you have not seen this, if you've seen it, don't cheat. Why does she think it feels kind of wrong to be out there protesting this unfortunate woman's death? Why do you think she thinks it's wrong? She's torn. She doesn't know if she should be out here protesting this woman's death.
Why do you think? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Like,
wait for it.
Where that stems from.
Wait for it.
Like I mean, part of it is being like a white woman that. I'm privileged and I have a lot of privilege. So I feel like white tears are not always something that's helpful or necessary.
Wait a minute. Because she's a white woman out there crying and white tears. The woman who died was white, moron. Oh my God. And I'm just like, look, the people who came out there for Black Lives Matter, we protested when a black person died. This is a white woman. You're a white woman. You should be the only one out there protesting. This is, y'all.
Brown people have been experiencing this for a long time. This isn't new for them, and so I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, it doesn't.
How did you decide that you should be here? Or are you still figuring that out?
Well, I work like 2 miles from here, so driving by, I don't,
Anyway, look, maybe according to whatever your ideology is, you should be the only one out there protesting for the death of a white woman. I don't get it. Oh Lord. Anyway, a bunch of articles on this, and I don't have time to get into them because, ladies and gentlemen, they'll be in the links. It is that time, ladies and gentlemen, for the best part of the week. Of course, that would be none other than Friday Q&A. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday Q&A, where you can ask questions and they might make sense and they might not, but we're going to do it anyway. And so beginning the Friday Q&A, oh, good, I can see them all. I will drop links too late at the end of the show. In fact, I'm going to get that ready now. First question today on Friday Q&A is, if you have, this is from Avocados Diabli. I'm only doing that once. Just once. Avocados Diabli asked, if you're in a different dialect of the English language. Here, let's get rid of those. I'm getting this ready now, so I don't have to wait. What the hell? Okay, there we go. Got it. Okay. Avocados Diabli asks, if you have a dream that you are trapped in a Camelot record store overnight with a cat that has a talking mushroom growing out of its head that sounds like Nipsey Russell, what does that mean? I think it means you took the brown acid. I'm just saying. And if you don't understand what I just said, you're too young to understand anyway. But yeah, and you probably don't know who Nipsey Russell is either. But a Camelot record store, that would be the real tell if you're not, if you're just too young to even have that question. So yeah, Nipsey Russell though was one of my favorite comedians as a child. I thought he was funny as hell. I didn't even know why I thought he was funny as hell. Probably because he was funny as hell. Avocados Diabli asks, if a cop uses a taser on an Amish person, is that a violation of their religious freedoms? Well, yeah, probably not. Look, they didn't use the taser. You did. Or the cop did. And so the cop is the one using the taser. The Amish person is just the one who got just a jolt of FAFO. Tyler Alexander asks, aka the Pope, says, you are driving down the highway. There is a bus with a nun, a stripper, a nurse, and a crazy cat lady, and the bus frame is damaged. My question is, how did they survive after hitting Tess Holiday? Well, look, generally, my guess, okay, here's what my guess is. The stripper was in the front of the bus, sitting on one of those sideways seats. You know, some seats face forward, and then some seats face sideways, and the sideways seats are usually in the front of the bus, right? And as the bus hit Tess Holiday, which really, if a bus hits Tess Holiday, some of that shock will be absorbed by Tess Holiday, but the rest of it, the stripper probably fell this way, right? And then her fake boobs was a cushion for all the others who landed on her. So between the shock absorption of Tess Holiday and the shock absorption of the fake boobs holding the other people back, everyone was just fine. Except for the bus. That's the best I got. Avocado Diabli asks, have you ever had one of those days where most of all the random people you meet look like the result of a Rip Torn and Phyllis Diller having children together? Oh my God, that. Yeah, thank God I haven't had one of those days. That'd be frightening. Because neither of those two people are very attractive. Okay, Tyre Alexander asks, there's a werewolf convention in town, and you've been in charge of. You've been in charge of fur cleanup. How many ice shack hookers do you employ for this job, and how much do you pay them? Well, look, a werewolf convention, not a big convention, maybe 8 to 10,000 people, maybe, because there's probably all the number of werewolves that would make it to a werewolf convention. At least, well, it depends on how the ice shack hookers cleaned up. Now, oh God, the thought that just came into my head, I'm not going to say. Never mind. Just fuck it. 41, because we have power equipment that can clean up a lot of the fur. Okay, Avocado Diabli asks, is putting a fishing line on a kite and using French fries as bait to fish for seagulls in bad taste or just thinking outside the box? Well, I'd say that's thinking outside the box because seagulls are stupid and they'll just go right at it and you probably catch a lot of seagulls. I'm not sure how you reel the seagulls in though, because if you catch too many, they might pull you out over the lake or the ocean or whatever. We have seagulls in Minnesota because of Lake Superior. We have seagulls. I've seen seagulls sitting in the Walmart parking lot here. But anyway, too many seagulls might take you away, so you got to be very careful. Don't put too much bait out there. Tyre Alexander asks, do you know how to flurgle a snork? Yeah, no. I know is that from like a Dr. Seuss thing or something? I don't know. Seagulls are literally everywhere. Oh, are they? Look, I've never seen a seagull in Nebraska growing up. So but I do see them around the Great Lakes a lot, but I'm trying to figure out why we get seagulls in the middle of Minnesota, like where there's there's lakes everywhere, but the seagulls that are here, like that end up they might be, my guess is that I see them when they're migrating. They must migrate because seagulls aren't going to last very long in a Minnesota winter. Anyway, no, I don't know how to flurgle a snork. Ms. Wild Wolf asks, if you could have an island to produce any product uninterrupted, what would it be? Well, what would be a smart thing to produce? Bitcoin. That would be a good one. I'd just produce Bitcoin and then I'd travel a lot. Tyre Alexander asks, after you flurgle the snork, do you stay and cuddle or do you leave money on the nightstand and go? Well, first of all, I'm not so sure about flurgling a snork. I don't know. I'm not sure how you do that. So I don't think I would leave money on the nightstand because my snork flurgling is limited. Avocado Diabli asks, seeing as how you thought that old Budweiser commercial was something approaching funny, what is your favorite flavor of Windex? Well, first of all, I much prefer Fabuloso. So Avocado Diabli asks, if Merle Haggard wrote a rap song, what would it be about and what would it be called? Well, of course, it would be about the old country road corner store. And the song would be Corner Store Whore. As opposed to Ice Shack Hookers. Miss Midnight asks, what is a life lesson you've learned the hard way? Let's see. I've had a few of those. Life lesson I've learned the hard way. Life lesson I've learned the hard way. Let's see, something I've done. That's a good question. I have to think about that. Invest more. invest more because if I'd have started when I started my kids investing, I'd be really rich right now. And now I'm just me. Start investing, even if it's just like $5 a week or a month. If you're right now at 18, Scala, midnight, put $5 away and somehow go into like some, get an advisor, because there's things you can do that most people can't do. And if you put $5 a week away into something, you'll be a multimillionaire by the time you're 50. Okay. Start investing right now. Midnight asks, what's your go-to karaoke song? Leave Your Hat On. You could leave your hat on. You probably don't know that song. It's a song by Joe Cocker, featured in the movie. What movie was that featured in? What's that movie with Richard Gere and Kim Basinger? That you can leave your hat on. Something. I almost said 48 hours, but that's not it. 9.5 weeks. It's in the movie 9.5 weeks, featured in 9.5 weeks. You can leave your hat on. That's my go-to karaoke song. By the way, cannot remember offhand, but I do know it. Yeah, it's from 9.5 weeks. Baby, take off your coat. Real slow. Baby, take off your shoes. I'm gonna take. Oh, it was Mickey Rourke, not Richard Gere. Mickey Rourke and Kim Basinger. Anyway, Midnight asks, what is the funniest thing you've ever seen online? Oh God, there's so many things. There's so many. I mean, that's hard because thinking of all the things I've seen online. Look here, Midnight. I've been online since online became a thing. Since dial-up, I've been online for, at least the mid 80s. Okay, because there was sort of an online, although the internet really didn't come into being so much until the 90s. But still, that's a long fucking time, and I've seen a lot of fucking funny shit. So that would take a really long time to figure out. Midnight asks, if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? St. Louis style pork ribs. That's it. I'd be eating pork ribs the rest of my life. I love barbecue ribs, and especially if they're good ones, like from Oklahoma Joe's and Kansas City, Missouri. Woo! Midnight asks, what's your favorite childhood movie? My favorite childhood movie. this doesn't make sense because it's not a kid's movie, but my favorite childhood movie, kind of a toss-up between Jaws, which no child should have been watching that anyway, but I did. I saw it like 15 times at the Indian Hills Theater in Omaha, Nebraska. Between that and the 3 Star Wars movies, particularly the first 2, episode 4 and episode 5, which is the first 2 Star Wars movies. The Empire Strikes Back especially was a great movie. That was my favorite. Midnight asks, what's a small thing you're grateful for? Oh, I probably shouldn't say that. Well, just my family, and I don't know if you could say a small thing, but yeah, it was. I'm just grateful for my family. Nothing that I have to have bought or acquired or whatever. That's just the best thing I have is my family. Midnight asks, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received? I'm gonna skip that one because I can't think of it off the top of my head. Horatio Nelson's in the house. Thank you. Dropping a deuce plus 22 in the tip jar, saying, you are down bad 6 weeks with a chastity lock on. You have 2 options: continue your solitude or take your chances deep dicking the asshole folds of a 1994 Rosie O'Donnell. No shower condom or douching beforehand. You go in dirty. Also, yay, dead communist. What the actual fuck was that? Thank you for the deuce plus 22, but the nightmare you just induced is going to stick with me for the rest of the day. Okay. Again, best piece of advice you ever received. I have to think about that one. Minna asks, what's a major turning point in your life? Kids, first child. Absolutely. I mean, there's several major turning points, but that was the one that had given me the most even regardless of how much it has cost, the gains have been by far greater than that. So Avocado Seattle asks, after how long of being unemployed can you just say you have retired from being unemployed? I don't know. You know what? I have not been unemployed since I was 15 years old or 14. No, actually I guess I didn't have jobs during the school year when I was a kid and like between like 14 and high school, whatever. But I always had summer jobs. And my first freshman year college, sophomore year of college, I didn't work during the school year, but I worked after the school year. But then when I left school for a year and a half and went back to school, I worked almost full time since between that and until I graduated. And I've never not had a job that I can think of. I cannot remember ever not, because when I moved here, I had a job because I transferred from my job where I lived before. And then I've always had another job lined up before I quit the job I had. So I don't think I've ever not had a job. So I have no idea. I have no experience with being unemployed. Hopefully in about 4 years I will, because I will be retired. I'm planning on retiring in 4 or 5 years, I think. Avocado Ziali asks, if Stuart could talk, what would he say? You mean Stuart the Mouse? Is that who's Stuart? Who the fuck's Stuart? I don't know. Stuart, and I think Stuart the Mouse can talk. Who's the fuck Stuart? Lord Stanhope asks, where is the worst possible place and the most inconvenient time to just completely lose control of one's bowels? In an airplane. Don't you think? Because look, because everyone around you has to, bask in the ambiance. It's not a good place. Lord Stanhope asks, are you having a good day today? Of course I am. I always have a good day. I'm like Ice Cube, baby. Today's a good day. Lord Stanhope asks, if I showed up at your house at 3 a.m. and proceeded to cook up a pack of New York strips, those green eggs with the dark orange yolks, and either grits or hash browns from scratch, what drink are you making? At 3 a.m.? See, you can't really drink Bloody Marys until after 8 a.m., but you can drink screwdrivers at 3 a.m. But with New York strips, I'm thinking maybe just a nice old-fashioned. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even with, I can drink an old-fashioned even though I'm eating eggs, because I'm not, particular. But, screwdrivers can't. Oh, no, maybe mimosas. Mimosas with little vodka in them? That might be good. Okay. Lord Stanhope asks, do you use whiskey stones? Do you feel they may be a scam? Or are whiskey stones for those who don't know how to appreciate spirits? I have no fucking idea what whiskey stones are. So I guess I've lost my bartender card because it's been a long time. I mean, I'm a professional bartender, but I'm kind of retired from professional bartending because it's been a good 30 years since I've been a professional bartender. But, it's kind of like being a Marine. Once you're a bartender, you're a bartender. Just don't know what whiskey stones are. No fucking idea. Okay. Lord Stanhope asks, an alien race, half Terminator, half ancient Egypt, developed a weapon so powerful that it could make weapons and vehicles feel pain. How does a vehicle express pain? Well, a vehicle, it just cries from the radiator. I don't know, starts leaking. That's how a vehicle expresses pain. Avocado Diablo, have you seen the photos we recently got from the dark side of the moon where there are interesting formations that look purposely designed, including one that it resembles, guess what? The thumbnail of Adam Schiff. You know what? You telegraphed that right from the very first 3 words. I knew you was going to be a fucking Adam Schiff thumbnail question, and I have not seen those pictures yet. Lord Sandabas, if you were Putin, and early last Saturday morning, Trump decides to call just to say, "Hey, buddy, this is how you perform a special military action," how would you feel? You know, I'm pretty sure that every fuckhead that we don't like or just have that has questions about us, we're looking at that going, what the fuck just happened? How the fuck did they do that? They just 3 hours, they plucked him right out of there. How the hell they do that? Yeah. Of course, I'm guessing that Venezuela doesn't have the greatest radar capabilities compared to some of, although they did have some Chinese stuff, right? They had some Chinese like defense systems and shit that just, I don't know about Putin, but I know that Xi Jinping,
China is asshole,
is going, oh shit, our shit don't work for shit. Anyway, Lord Stanham says, funny. The touched-up version of Renee Good reminds me of Lily Tino. Oh, yeah, that little picture they put out there of her looking so saint-like. Lord Stanham says, Brandon Jamal did a good video about how people like Renee Good, who has 3 kids, must hate their families to abandon them for complete strangers that have... strangers have that good people feeling. What are your thoughts? You know, she wasn't thinking about her kids. Look, you're putting yourself in the middle of a law enforcement action. And as we know from other law enforcement action that she was probably out there protesting for, and when she lived in wherever the fuck she lived before she moved to the Twin Cities, knowing that people can die from law enforcement actions and you're taking a chance. And God, you're out there risking your life for instead of thinking about your kids. So yeah, that's my thoughts. But she certainly didn't think she was going to die that day either. And it's sad that she did die that day. I'm going to repeat this. I know some people don't feel this way, but I do. I think it's a tragic loss of life over some bullshit. And justified or not by the officer, I feel bad for her kids, and anyone else who loved her. She was somehow convinced that what she was doing was right and didn't think of the possible consequences. And so I feel bad for her, her family, anyone who loved her. Lord Santa, if a person with a death wish gets their wish, how much should I pity them? I think that was the follow-up question to what I just said. You don't necessarily have to pity them, but still say, you feel bad for their loved ones. Lord Santa, who is your favorite new kid on the block? I got to remember who the fuck the new kids on the block are. The one, probably Donnie Wahlberg, because he's really good in Blue Bloods, and he's turned out to be a pretty good actor. So yeah, it's probably Donnie Wahlberg. Lord, now, who else could have? Anyone else in the gay one? Oh, is that the Vance Bass? Is he New Kids on the Block? He's the gay one, right? Vance Bass, is that his name? Are you surprised that I can name any of the New Kids on the Block? Those are the only 2 names I think I know, though. But yeah, Donnie Wahlberg. All right, who else can name? No, they weren't all gay. Donnie Wahlberg's definitely not gay. There's always a gay one. Well, I know there's always a gay. Who else can name the rest of the New Kids on the Block, though? I know Donnie Wahlberg and Vance Bass. Oh, Hugh Janus? Yeah, I forgot about him. Where are we at here? Oh my God, there's a lot of questions left and I don't have much time. Okay, well, we're going to do this anyway. Fuck, where are we at? Oh my God, there's a lot of questions left. I just need to do this a lot faster. All right. Okay, here we go. Lord Stand Up, can the behavior of leftists be attributed to bad or absent parenting? Not necessarily, but more often than not. Kara Soldier, why does the left always make it so... Make it what? Oh, why does the left always make it sound like history began with Trump? Funny how Scribe asks this a lot during his DEI streams, because they have bad long-term memory and they don't care. They want to know what's happening that makes them emotional now. And right now that's Trump. Lord Stanhope, deep down under the thousands of rings that denote your age, don't you want to see one of these sanctuary jurisdictions carry out these threats and afterward receiving the Maduro treatment? I'm really concerned about that. One of the articles that I have in the links today is the fact that Governor Walz has apparently activated the National Guard. And he was talking about that the other day. And I'm just trying to figure out for who? They say to assist local law enforcement in doing what? Because he was making it like he wanted to threaten the United States of America, forgetting that the National Guard, despite the fact that they're formed within the states, still answer to the commander-in-chief. I think he forgot that, and especially someone who is a guardsman, he should know that. But I'm not sure. He made it sound like he wanted to have the National Guard fight federal law enforcement. So I'm not sure. Didn't sound that great though. But the FAFO, and that would be very interesting. Lord Stanhope, if Judge Judy fought Judge Dredd using jiu-jitsu versus Muay Thai, who would win? Judge Dredd would whoop Judge Judy's ass no matter what form of fighting they'd use. Judge Dredd's a motherfucker. Lord Stanhope, who is the next person you'd like to see get Maduro'd? I don't want to see anybody get Maduro'd. Come on, man. Come on, man. I have a few in mind, but I'm not going to say it out loud. Avocados Diablo asks, if Johnny Rivers died by drowning, would that be irony? Well, of course. Of course that would be ironic. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? It's like rain on your wedding day and Johnny Rivers drowning in the bay. Lord Stanhope asks, if you could taste colors, what would the work of H.R. Geiger taste like to you? Yellow. I didn't say hello, I said yellow. Lord Stanhope, Bobby Brown, 88 versus Al B. Sure, same era. Look, as talented as I thought Al B. Sure was, Bobby Brown's book is much, much more prolific. Bobby Brown. Just saying. Al B. Sure his limited book was very good, but Bobby Brown, baby. Avocado Diablo asks, if you were in a terrible fire and the doctors told you they could either amputate limbs because the way they were so burnt, or use skin grafts, but all they had was skin from scrotums, which would you choose? Oh God. Come out looking like that thing in what's the movie with the guy with the eye up here and stuff? Is that from Stand By Me, or what movie is that from? I don't even know. Yeah, I'm just gonna let him amputate. Just fucking kill me, okay? I don't want to look like a fucking out of space creature from Star Trek. After an ICE agent shoots someone, they yell, "I'm Rick James, bitch!" Does that indemnify them? Goonies, yeah. No. Please. I implore all ICE agents across America. First of all, try not to shoot anybody, but if you do, don't give me the "I'm Rick James, bitch" line. Or what was that movie in Harlem Nights when Eddie Murphy shot the lady's pinky toe? What? That whole scene was fucking hilarious. Anyway, Lord Stanhope asks, in your honest professional opinion as a bartender, how bad do you think New York City protesters smelled? And do you think if any of them had washed since last night? Look, they smelled like a bar that had never been cleaned. You ever smell a bar that you just walk in there and you're like, ooh, it has that bar smell in the background. But they smell like a bar that's never been cleaned, but was closed for the entire summer. And it was the hottest summer ever. And then they opened it about August 31st, or August 30th, excuse me, because there's no August 31st. They opened it August 30th and decided just to let everybody in before they cleaned it anyway. Yeah, that's what they probably smelled like. Lord Stanhope, will you have a good weekend? This is going to be a mellow weekend, but we're going to go see the babies. So yes, it's going to be a good weekend. Lord Stanhope, how much of the protesting is performative and how much is sincere? I think a lot of it's for the cameras. The NGOs that pay for the protesting are right now, they're all making commercials for the DNC. And especially all the Congress people who are condemning it and they're making these videos and whatever, it's very performative, and they're using the death of a woman very cynically, as far as I can tell. Select Boy asks, what's the best loaf of bread for a superhero sandwich? For a superhero sandwich, you know what? At Sam's Club, they have these French rolls. They're about this big, man, and they're, yes, the French roll from Sam's Club. Avocado Stalby, if you were stuck in a burning building with an anti-ICE protester and a half-eaten week of Old Ham sandwich and could save only one, which would you choose? Well, I'm a humanitarian, and I'd save the ICE protester. Fuck. Because they're a human being. Lord Stanhope asks, what's your favorite sad story that at the end you felt bad for no one? Wait, what's your favorite sad story that at the end you felt bad for no one? Oh, God. I don't have a favorite sad story. Sad stories suck. Is Old Yeller a sad story? Because I didn't give a fuck about that dog. Anyway, Lord Stanhope asks, is that all? No. Avocado Diablo asks, if you were reincarnated as a condiment, which condiment would you be? Would you like to be? Condiment? Salsa. I don't know why. Avocado Diablo asks, if you woke up naked in the middle of a leering center, how would you try and explain it? I was kidnapped. Select Boy asks, I got to do this lightning round because I'm already late. If you died once and you had an item that'll bring you back to life in your prime, would you use it? Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Because only if I could remember all the shit that I was supposed to know. Like, yes, of course I would. Why wouldn't anybody do that? Avocado Diablo, what television sitcoms from the 80s theme song would make the best death metal song? Is the Great American Hero, is that the believe it or not, I'm walking on air, never thought I could feel so free? That'd make a cool death metal song. I'm just saying. Could you imagine that? That'd be perfect. Okay. Special Cat Asking asks, how many cups of sugar does it take to get to the moon? Oh, wow. About 35 million. Oh, you were thinking of the same song? Special Cat Acid? Yeah, that'd be a great metal song. Okay. Avocado Sally asks, if you were single and saw a super hot chick carrying a sign that said, we'll give blowjobs for rides, but she was wearing a shirt that had that thumbnail of Adam Schiff, would you still pick her up? Hell to the fucking no. But at least I'd know how to position her mouth. Avocado Sally asks, should pregnant women have to buy 2 plane tickets? No, because they're not fat. They're not like wide fat. They're just this way. And it's not even fat. So no, they shouldn't. Avocado Diabli, are you late yet? I know I went easy on you today, but I can always quickly add some more. Don't add any more fucking questions. Avocado Diabli asks, out of Dinah Shore, Doris Day, and Joe Stafford, Who do you think was the wildest in bed? Oh, Doris Day, that innocent act. Fuck. You know that bitch was freaky as fuck. And finally, the last question on today's Friday Q&A comes from Mr. Abacus Diabli. I'm not reading the second one you just added. As a professional front desk clerk at a Motel 6, what is your favorite formaldehyde-based cocktail? Probably the Loosey Goosey. I just made that shit up. All right, that's it. No more fucking Friday Q&A. I love Friday Q&A, but I'm so late that this shit's ending. And the last question you put out there was, are you serious? Yeah, I was serious. So yeah, I'm serious, motherfucker. All right, thanks everybody. This is it. Here's the links, and I got to go quickly. You all have a wonderful weekend. Who knows if I do something crazy over the weekend myself and add something onto this page, but you know, pay attention. We'll see what happens. Thanks to the sponsors. Thanks to the chat. Thanks to all the questions, because they're awesome. And you have a great weekend. My name's Dawg Knight, and I am the fuck out of here, baby.
Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.